Hey there, Vikings. Welcome back to the playthrough. In today's episode, you catch us in the middle of doing the one thing I've been warning you not to do for the past 2 episodes, which is some nighttime mining in the Black Forest. Yes, I am a nightmare for taking my own advice, although for me it's much less of a danger and much more of just an irritation thing, really. It's just the Grey Dwarves and their swarming numbers that you can already see there, that a Grey Dwarf has thrown a stone at us. Oh, look, there's 2 of them already. Yep. 3 and 4, you can see their eyes in between those tree leaves, or branches. Just standard, really, but the campfires are doing their job. They are scaring the Grey Dwarves away. Oh, that brute is attacking the campfire. Hello. We're just going to quickly parry you and then run out of stamina. Ow. He's just going to bonk us on the head for a little bit. And now comes the issue with fighting at nighttime, is the lessened stamina regeneration, although we don't have the cold debuff as we are stood right next to a campfire, fortunately for us. Oh, I don't know what he's trying to hit there, definitely not me. Gonna keep stabbing him until he dies. There we go. Silly little brute. One thing I have neglected to mention about the brutes is that sometimes you'll see them with these dandelions on top of their heads, and if you kill that brute, he will indeed drop that one dandelion. I think the very first brute that we encountered had a dandelion on his head, and then I remember opening my inventory as I was rewatching that episode back, and I saw the dandelion in there. So yeah, I kind of neglected to mention that. It's just a funny little feature that they have. I'm guessing because they are kind of like wood people, they have like things like that growing on them. And also they do have I think it's only the shaman. I mentioned in a previous episode that the shaman and the brute have the chance of dropping an ancient seed. I believe it might only be the shaman that has the chance to drop that. I could have been wrong about that. I do need to check that statistic, and well, I need to check that fact and get back to you about it. But I would definitely focus on killing shaman regardless of whether or not you need the ancient seeds, as they can be a pain in the backside with their poison spray and their healing mist that they like to do. But yeah, we are currently just mining away at this copper node that's taken us several episodes to mine through. It has been an interesting mining session for us so far. What we're trying to do is gather enough copper, and then we're going to focus on getting tin after that. We're trying to get enough of it into our little cart that we've got with us to take back home so that we can craft the axe, the bronze axe, and the bronze pickaxe. Those are the 2 next things that we're kind of aiming for. Hopefully we will gather enough of both of copper and tin so that we can make some other stuff as well, so we can make some other upgrades. I did half mention it in a previous episode, but one of the other upgrades we got, or one of the other craftable things we got when we unlocked tin, was the cooking pot, which is something I desperately want to make quite soon. But there is a decent amount of tin in this Black Forest biome that we're currently in, so we will focus on getting that. It's probably, of the 2, it's definitely easier to get tin than it is copper. Copper is just a bit of a pain with the size of it and the amount of swinging away that you have to do, as you can see here. One thing I haven't mentioned as well is that during our last episode we were attempting to use our sneaky little trick for faster copper mining, which is trying to attract a troll nearby to come over and smash the copper node for us. We were unlucky in that aspect. We did find a troll, and we did manage to drag him back about 2/3 of the way from where he was to the copper node we wanted him to smash, but sadly he decided to take a bath in the ocean and then lost interest in us and wandered off. So yeah, we decided to just give up on that, which is where you then caught us. We just got back from that. It was still nighttime, but we just decided to crack on with mining, and now we're going to clear out these Grey Dwarfs because they are frustratingly annoying. But yeah, so we are just smashing away at these copper nodes, trying to gather as much of it as we possibly can. Sorry, Mr. Brute, you can try and run away, but it's just not going to help you. I suppose that's what happens when you 5-shot the poor things. They try and run away. One thing I did also notice there, other than the fact that it's just turned over to daytime, so the Grey Dwarf spawns will drop considerably. That's going to help us out immeasurably. I'm thinking I might stop in a second and just get my rested buff as we are... It's daytime now and the Grey Dwarf shouldn't show up to attack us. I can't see any in the area, so if we sit next to this fire, we should be able to get resting. Hopefully, might take a few seconds. Oh, there we go, perfect. Comfort 1, so it's only 8 minutes, but it's better than nothing. The other thing I noticed as well is that the cart is pretty much full of useless crap that we don't really need to have in there. Apologies for the bad word, but it's not useless. A lot of the stuff is stuff that we need, but the problem is that it's all really lightweight stuff I really shouldn't be putting in the cart. I should really be saving the cart spaces for the ore, the wood, the stone, that kind of stuff. The heavy stuff that I can't carry much of myself. There we go, yeah, we're just going to start taking it out now. I think I was just dumping it so I had space in my inventory to pick up more things, but yeah, a lot of this stuff we shouldn't really be putting in the cart, like meat and leather scraps. Honey, queen bee. I mean, why the queen bee takes up one whole slot when it's just a tiny little bee makes no sense to me, but it's a game. After all, we have to manage inventory spaces, so that is part of it. But yeah, we're just going to free up some slots, leave a couple of slots in our backpack for the stone and for the copper that we're mining, but yeah, we should be saving the slots in the cart itself for the copper and the stone and the wood that we're getting, just so that we've got much more of it when we go back home. I'm gonna think about planning. I'm planning on going back quite soon. We're getting close to the end of this copper farm. This is our second pickaxe that we're using at the minute. We've got second of 3 pickaxes, and this one's nearly run out. It's almost out of durability, so we are going to need to go back and repair at some point soon. But I am hoping to grab some tin before we do that. We've got a fair bit of copper so far. I think we're sitting on about 40 of it so far, but we obviously need some tin to go along with it, otherwise we can't make bronze, and 40 odd bars of copper isn't really going to do much for us. Yep, there we go. Our pickaxe just went out of durability, so we're going to have to swap over. Just going to kill these grey doors first because they won't leave me alone. Come on, you. I know I saw you stood there. Come on. Don't run away. What are you doing? You picked this fight. Come on, get it. There we go. Yes, we are on to our last pickaxe now. All we need to do is just swap it out, put it into the right slot. But yeah, I think we're just going to stick around until this pickaxe is pretty much done. We're going to get some more copper, hopefully get it up to about 2 stacks worth, maybe, and then we'll head off and start getting some tin. Again, as I've said, tin is nice and easy to find. It's these smaller clumps of stone that you can find along the water's edge in the Black Forest, either the coast or rivers. It's usually gathered around there. Sometimes you can go for a while without seeing any. It's just the way it spawns. Sometimes it spawns in masses in one area, and sometimes it's quite evenly spread along the whole coastline. So just be sure to keep following the water's edge and you should see plenty of it. Also, I think this might be 2 copper nodes that have kind of spawned inside each other, because we've also got, you'll also notice we've got these trees that have kind of grown inside the copper nodes as well. So I think this might be just like a kind of like, not a glitch or a bug or anything, but more of like a kind of like a mistake from the world generation, where it's kind of spawned about 4 or 5 things all in the same spot. Because there is a lot of copper here. It's taking us quite a while to mine. Usually it's not this much time worth of mining that we've had to do for previous copper nodes. Sorry, in previous playthroughs. So I think this one might have been a double node. And you will notice as well that some parts like this are stuck out of the ground, so you will have to either dig out the ground a little bit in order to get to that little last bit that's sat in the ground. So you can see there's a bit there that's kind of tree branches in the way. Let's spin around a little bit, right in the floor there. Oh no, we can hit it, perfect. Sometimes you will have to dig the ground out in order to get to that bit of copper that's sticking out, but sometimes you can angle it correctly and hit it straight away without having to dig up any of the floor or anything like that. We are getting close to finishing this node. Gonna get this bit here. Well, there's not much left now, actually. Of course, there's some more grey dwarfs that are wanting to say hello. There's one off in the distance there as well. Go away, please. Thank you very much. We are closed for business. We're not open to business to grey dwarfs today. Thank you. Okay, let's dump the copper. We're on about 53, that's not bad. So, I mean, it's not amazing for a first time, but it's not bad. It should be enough to get us what we need, hopefully, fingers crossed. But we obviously need the tin to go with it, so we're going to need about 25 25 tin ore, which we're now going to have a quick explore along the water's edge and try and get that. We're obviously just going to need to make sure we've got the inventory slot for it. Oh, no, there's a tiny bit of copper there. Let's grab that. See what I mean? Like, sometimes it can be like camouflaged in the floor and you won't be able to see it very clearly. So best thing to do is just to run around looking at the ground and just like waiting for the copper deposit part to show up. I thought there was another piece underneath there. Obviously sometimes it sticks at an angle like this and it's easy to spot. Grey Dwarf trying to hit us, not doing a very good job of it, are you? Get rid of that stone because we need the copper. Where is that cart? Let's dump it in here. What we're on now? 27 is that, I think? It's not too bad. Bloody Grey Dwarfs. These bonfires are doing a pretty decent job. Okay, I'm just going to wait for these guys to stop running away so we can clear them out a bit. Ah, and here's some tin. Perfect. This is just what we need. Only got about half durability left on this pickaxe, so hopefully we can gather enough of it. Just going to dump the rest of that stone again. There are a few things over the course of your playthrough that will you'll want to get rid of. Stone, wood, kind of being two of them at some point. Even if you need, like, I'd probably say for stone and wood, you might need a lot of them over the course of a playthrough, especially wood. If you plan on building anything, like buildings and stuff out of stone, you'll need a lot of that as well, but you will get to a point, because you can passively gather it through many different things, like just picking it up off the floor, or getting it from copper mining, stuff like that. You will passively gain a lot of stone over time, so it gets to a point where you just, you know, you need to pick up something important, but your inventory's full, and, you know, you need something to drop. Stone's usually one of the first things I'm chucking out my inventory, because, yeah, it's just... It's not really important now, especially now that I've got lots of stacks of it at home. We're going to have even more now after we bring this stuff back. I think we've already got a couple of stacks at home, but the building, like the area that we've decided to build our base is actually surrounded by a lot of little stone clumps and rocks and stuff sticking out of the ground, so we can obviously just mine those with our pickaxe, and we've got plenty of stone there as well if we need a huge amount of it, but we'll probably take home the majority of the stone that we've gathered from this copper like mining as well, because we have gained a lot from there. I'm actually doing alright with these tin nodes. There's a fair few of them around this area. And luckily they only drop tin. You don't have to worry about... Whoops, one too many there. You don't have to worry about picking up stone and stuff when you're mining tin. It's literally just this tin node, and then you get tin from it, and that's it. So you don't have to worry too much about filling up your inventory with anything else. It's just that there are times when you'll be in the Black Forest and you'll be running along like the water's edge or the coast or something, and you just won't find any tin at all, and you'll have to keep running for a while to actually find any. You might find one or two nodes quite loosely based around the area, but yeah, sometimes it's difficult to find them. I think that should be alright for tin now. Breasted buff's about to run out, but I don't think we're desperately needing it right now, although we might want it for going home. I suppose we'll just travel back to the cart and get our rested buff from there. Well, to be fair, we might just take them all down because we are heading out soon. Oh, I got the smoked debuff for a few seconds there. Guessing I was stood a bit too close to the fire. Yeah, I'll just take all of these out. I don't really want to leave a bunch of campfires just sat around this area in the Black Forest. We are eventually at some point going to take off the marker on the map for this copper node as well. Obviously, because we've cleared it out, and we know like we don't need a marker here for copper anymore. Oh, he's just gone sprinting down that cliff face. I say it's not even a grey dwarf, it's just a greyling, annoying little sod. So yeah, we'll just quickly get our rested buff because we are about to attach the cart to ourselves and start pulling it back, so I can showcase the awkwardness of a heavy cart and trying to pull it back, especially with where we are, because with this biome being attached to a mountain, there are a lot of steep inclines and stuff, so it's going to be a bit of a... I think it's going to be quite difficult for us to navigate this effectively, but we'll check it out and see what happens. Okay, now we're rested, we'll knock down the campfire, and then we'll get on with attaching the cart to ourselves. Just going to dump the last few pieces in there. So to attach the cart to yourself, you need to be stood in between these two wooden struts at the front of the cart, and then you just need to look at one of them and use it, which will then attach these two ropes to the sides of you. and then you can start pulling the cart. Pulling the cart, quite simple, quite easy. All you have to do is just run forward. You are going to need to sprint quite a lot, as the carts, as I've explained, they are cumbersome, especially the heavier they are with heavier items. They are going to be quite difficult to pull around. As you can see right now, we're stuck up trying to run this hill, just waiting for our stamina to regen. I think that's the main reason why I got rested. The other issue we've got as well is that we don't have our Eichfear buff, so we can't make use of that as well. That will help as well when you're pulling a cart back, obviously, because your stamina usage is 60% less whilst you've got the Eichfear buff. You can always use that to sprint for longer whilst pulling a cart, so it does make it a bit easier. But it's not too bad. Luckily enough, because this biome is right next to our base, it's not going to take us too long to pull this back. Should only take a few minutes. But the bigger issue when it comes to pulling a cart, again, as you can see here, I'm stuck on one of these saplings, is getting stuck on smaller things like the saplings, the small bushes, and the smaller clumps of stone. They can be quite irritating at times. Sometimes they can get stuck, and you might have to detach yourself from the cart and then get your axe out and chop them down. But one of the things I prefer doing is just kind of winding my way through them all and, going past them rather than just trying to cut them down. Oh, I think we're going to get stuck here. Yeah, we are. Can we wiggle it free, or we're going to have to chop it down? Come on. No, we're going to chop it down. It can be a bit frustrating when you're pulling a cart, like getting it stuck on a tree. I think it's just one of those things that you kind of... sometimes you think, oh, there's enough room for me to get through. It's almost like driving a car. You're like, oh, I've got plenty of room to get through there. And you just hear a big scrape as you're like rubbing it along the side of another thing. Like it's stuck on a tree, something like that. Like, yep, I thought that might happen. And obviously, because it's made of wood, it makes that big kind of clanging sound when it bangs into things. We've just made it past that rock. I think we're going to struggle going through these saplings. Yeah, I don't even know why I thought that. Oh, well, actually, okay. I thought I was going to get stuck there. That was quite lucky. And I think we are now past the worst of the pulling it back. Although, to be honest, pulling it back from this Black Forest isn't that difficult, as the majority of it is downhill. Again, it's mostly about just avoiding things that are going to get in the way and get trapped and trap the cart. So we're not too unfortunate. And then we don't have to worry too much about pulling the cart back to the Black Forest either, because what you can do, rather than just pulling it back, is once you've emptied the cart of everything that's in it, you can just use your axe to chop it down. You can't destroy them, I don't think. Destroy them. You can't deconstruct them with the crafting hammer, I don't think. I think once they're built, you have to... Oh, God, wow. Yep, there you go. There's a small bush that's kind of... I'm flying a little bit at the minute. I'm trapped. I need to detach myself from the cart. There we go, finally. I have to take this bush out now. But yeah, sorry, the thing you can do, because I don't think you can actually deconstruct carts and boats with the crafting hammer, the item you use to build them with. What you can do instead is just use your axe to chop them down and just hit them repeatedly and then lower their durability. And once they're destroyed, it will drop all of the items that you crafted them with. So you don't lose any of your wood or nails or anything like that. And then obviously you can just pick them up, carry them with you, go back to the area where you want to have the cart and just rebuild it there. So it is a bit of a quicker way of travelling around with them. It's the same with boats as well. Boats, you don't have to sail a boat everywhere. You can, say if you already have a quick way of getting somewhere and you want to sail from that point, you can just take the boat down with your axe, pick up all the pieces, carry it over to the area where you want to sail from and just build the boat in the water from there. So it's just a bit of an easier way of doing... Of like traveling around with stuff. You don't have to manually do it all the time. There are like quicker methods of doing it. And here we are back at base, nice and easy. Now, I can't really showcase it on this bit currently, but one thing to be aware of is that you can, obviously with the flattened ground we've got here and the dirt ground rather than grass, there are also other types of ground that you can make in future, like a paved ground or a stone ground, stuff like that. You can pull carts along those a lot easier. So let's say we had quite a difficult path getting back. What you could do is use the hoe, or I believe there's another tool that we'll get later on to pave the ground. You could use one of those to kind of flatten out an area, like a path from where you're traveling to and from with the cart, which would make it easier to pull along rather than having to pull it through the grass biome and stuff like that. And obviously you could remove like the saplings and the stones and stuff out of the way, so it would make it a bit easier and a bit quicker to travel back and forth. But in all honesty, it's never been something I've done. I've used the cart a lot since I've started playing Valheim, but I've never really done anything like that, unless of course it's been around my own base. Let's say I've got quite a big base and we need to pull the cart back and forth if we're lugging a lot of stone and wood or ores and stuff like that. I would make a path through the base, like a paved path with stone or something, so that I could pull the cart along that, and it would make it a lot easier to pull the cart. But yeah, it's just trying to do that from your base to another biome, even if it's just the Black Forest nearby, it would take a lot of time. You'd have to keep repositioning a crafting table so that you could keep flattening the ground with the hoe. So yeah, it's just something that you could do it if you really wanted to, but the amount of time it would take and for the potential benefit that it has, I wouldn't say that it's really worth it, in my opinion. But again, it's another option if you did want to do it that way. But now that we are back at base, we are just organizing our inventories and dumping things that we don't need currently. But we are going to start smelting down this ore soon. But there is another thing I'm going to do as well, which is in the downtime after this session. So at the end of this episode, after this session, I'm going to start building the crafting room. I'm going to build it as quite a large circular room, which is attached to the side of our main house here. I might just build a little tunnel going from the house itself, like the main room, to the crafting room. It's just going to be a big circular building. It's not even going to have a full roof. It's only going to have enough roof tiles so that we can craft in there. But it's just an area that I've used in other playthroughs, and I've quite enjoyed it. I've quite enjoyed having it because it's made life a lot easier. So yeah, we are going to do that between the 2 episodes. I will... Well, I don't know. What we'll probably do is we'll probably record that footage of me building it, but then I'll keep that as a separate episode to not have it... Sorry, not as an episode, but I'll keep that as a separate video that we'll upload. I'll literally call it something like, let's build a crafting room for our Valheim playthrough world, or something like that. And then we'll have that as a separate video, so that if people do want to watch that, I will commentate some of it as well. There isn't much for me to commentate, but I will commentate some of it. You know, all I'm going to really be doing is just cutting down trees and then building, so it's not something that's really... You know, I'm not going to have like lots and lots to talk about whilst doing it, but I'll put it up anyway, just in case people do want to see that, to see what it is that I'm doing whilst I'm building it. But yeah, well, that will be what we'll do in the downtime after this episode. And now that we've filled up both of our smelters, we did build a second smelter as well. We filled them both up. We've got the wood kiln, or the charcoal kiln, is now full of wood as well. We'll probably just take a little bit more to build. Oh, our campfire's gone out. Just going to fill that up with some wood as well. But yeah, we'll let them run over the course of the night time. We are going to sleep soon, as we can tell that it's getting a bit darker. It's getting towards the end of the day. We could probably go to sleep right now, actually. Yeah, we can. Perfect. And this is also a pretty good spot to end this episode, I would say. We'll probably just quickly get out of bed and grab all the stuff from the smelter and put them in the chest. But we obviously do need to start going through and smelting all of this ore, getting the bars, and starting to make our first bits and pieces with the bronze. Yeah, there we go. So if you go to bed almost as soon as nighttime starts happening, that will fully complete everything in the charcoal kiln and the 2 smelters. So that's a quick way for you to, you know, kind of speed through it a little bit. There you go. All the copper's done. Dump that in the chest. Grab all of this one. Dump this in the chest. But yeah, I think this is where we'll end the episode for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode with our new crafting building.